Hello everybody, welcome to our channel. I'm walking up to my garden this morning. I'm feeling a little bit sick at what I'm going to find up here. We've been gone for a week. I have been gone for a week. Dan came back a few days ago. He called me and warned me that it was bad. We were downstate I was there for a week visiting with our new grandson. Really happy about that. So I got all these emotions right now because I'm so happy that I got to spend that first week with him. And then Dan called me and said that the deer got into the garden while we were gone. So I'm coming up to survey the damage. He said it was bad. I'm hoping he was just preparing me for a worst case scenario. We have all sorts of fences here. We've got a tall fence, we got the electric fence. So we'll see. Well, this is the beginning of it. Got the pear trees. I didn't get too high up, but they certainly did a number on the bottom branches on that one. This poor guy's just gone. We had the same thing happen with our apple trees when we first got them. They pruned them back really, really well, and they're actually doing really well now, but this is not the beginning I wanted for this poor pear tree. See what else it got into. We knew that would be a possibility with them being outside of the garden, so we're going to have to wrap those with some deer netting. I said they got my pole beans, and they sure did. They ate the tops right off of them. So this happened probably 5 days ago now. I was gone about 3 days longer than Dan. I stayed longer to get baby snuggles and get our daughter settled in at home with new baby. And Dan came home to take care of things, and it looks like there's some new growth coming on those stems. I don't think that side's a total goner yet. This side's pretty bad. But a few weeds in there. There's new growth on those. Those might not be too bad. I knew I had time to replant these. I think they're a 54-day variety. But I didn't want to be pushing back my season that far. My strawberries were done before I left, so kind of nice. Another note, my potatoes are doing really well. I haven't done potatoes in several years because I've had such an infestation of the Colorado potato beetle, but I don't have a single bug this year. And I'm going to be right on top of getting those things off. So they left the potatoes alone. The carrots look good. And I imagine that the carrots probably looked pretty, they're pretty tender right now the way they're, they're not very big. When you get them, oh, my cucumbers. I had some germination issues with my cucumbers, so I had replanted a few of them. So the new ones are coming up. So they didn't get those because they weren't up enough for them to eat yet. But man, they were just getting tall enough that I was about ready to start to get them trained on the trellis. There's a few leaves left on them. Oh, darn it, deer. Those are not looking so good. Looks like they ate a bunch of my radish tops. I nibbled those down. I can still get the radishes. Well, I got all my kale. Dan wasn't quite sure everything that they had gotten into because he doesn't know what some of these things are that I've got planted in here. Kale is one of those things you just keep cutting it and it keeps growing. You keep cutting it and it grows back like lettuce. But I was just about ready to get my first cutting of it, and it's just little stems. They did, however, leave my basil and my eggplants alone. Good. I don't want to give up any of my basil. My beets weren't doing all that great to begin with, so those are Might have to replant a few of those. All my jalapenos, I left those alone. Grapes are doing great. See if they got the blueberries. Last year something ate all my blueberries off of here. Oh, here. And they've eaten, I mean, they got that plant earlier this spring. So, I mean, it didn't die. It doesn't have any blueberries on it this year, but at least it didn't die. Well, the blueberries aren't ready yet, so I guess those weren't tempting enough. But I might have a little crop this year. I'm going to plant a few more of those this year. Well, they left my squash alone. Oh, they got my cabbage. He did say the cabbage got hit pretty hard. I'm not sure there's any saving that. Yeah, it looks like it's still alive. And there's a little bit of a leaf on there. Hopefully it's just considered a good pruning and getting the root system developed more like you do with pruning. But and I was really looking forward to a really good cabbage crop this year. I grew it all from seed, had all the varieties that I wanted. There's our new sprinkler head that Dan built for me. Works great back here. Got it set up perfectly so 2 sprinklers do the whole garden. Yeah, this is pretty bad. Not a single cabbage plant that's not affected out here, I don't think. Look at that. This was a really good, large, good storage variety. I was going to get them in my root cellar this year. I don't know if there's any saving these or not. We'll see how they do over the next week or two and see if any new leaves pop out. I mean, it looks like there's some new leaves coming. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought. I don't know. My purple one certainly didn't do so good. Weeding to do. These ferns. So I've got a row of beans here. I know it's really hard to see because they're just starting to come up on this row right here. I planted those before I left. And they weren't up yet, so they didn't get that row. This row, they pretty much ate all the tops off. These were doing really well. These were several weeks ahead of the other ones. And that's all that's left of my plants. It's hard to even see them. Beans, thankfully, 50 days. I think for the variety I got 52, 54 days for the bush bean variety. Oh, I got my zucchini. Get a big variety of zucchini this year. All summer squashes. It's like 4 or 5 different varieties in a pack. It looked fun, but some of them are okay. Well, all in all, it's not as horrible as I thought it was going to be. I'm glad he prepared me for worse, and I'm glad I didn't come home on that first day because at least I had, 4 or 5 days to let these see if they're going to die or if they're just going to grow new leaves and get better. And it might be just a little bit of a slowdown in my season. So hopefully things will rebound back and come back. Looks like they left all my herbs alone. My herb garden is just going crazy. We've had a lot of rain this year. This mint, I can pick mint every day and not even get into what's in the raised bed there and just pick it from the outside where it's escaping and still have more than enough to give away and all that. Last time the deer got into here, they ate all my lavender right before I was about ready to pick it. That's beautiful. Bee balm, all my chives. I mean, it looks like they left all of this stuff alone. Sage. Got my lemongrass in a pot because that doesn't overwinter well. So the plan for today is to work on the deer fencing. We have decided to go with the deer netting all the way around the garden. Ann's been playing with a section of the garden while I was gone, trying to get this planned out so that when I got home we could get to work on this. And I think the best thing that's going to keep them out of here, we know that they're not jumping over the fence. They are going right through it. We've seen them go through it, and when we catch them in the garden, they just run right through the fence. They don't care that there's electric on the outside. They don't care that there's a lot of wires, and they don't care how tall it is. They just run right through the fence. And then we see the little ones just going right under it. So we had some deer netting that we used. We used it actually for the enclosure for the outside part of the chicken coop, where their run is, and we liked how it went up. It was easy enough, and I think that's what we're going to end up using. Don't look at the water built up in my hoop house. I got to roll that up the other direction because it's catching rain. But this deer netting is really tall. It's pretty sturdy. It's meant for deer, so it's got a very small mesh, very um, very strong mesh. They can't get through it. They can't get stuck in it because it's too small, and it's way too tall for them to go over top of. So, and at that point, we're just going to run this all the way around the garden. Dan put up 2x4s and just extended the posts because our posts weren't tall enough for the netting. And then we'll run that all along the inside. We'll have to figure out something for the raspberry patch because that's all intertwined with the fence. I think we might just skip that section. They're not coming in through there anyway. Nature. We love it. We love living in the woods, but you have to deal with everything that comes with that as well. But I am not going to tolerate the deer getting into my garden. I am done with this battle and time to fight back. And on a happier note, this week marks the 1 year anniversary for our YouTube channel. And where we're at the 1 year mark has far exceeded my expectations at all. And we recently hit the 5,000 subscriber mark and exceeded that too. So we're really happy where we're at right now. And to all our new subscribers, welcome. And I hope that you will like our future content. We got some things planned this week. I was going to be working on my chicken coop video today, but that is going to be pushed back another week or two because this fence is going to take priority. I looked forward to having such a good garden this year, and I was on such a good track to have my best garden ever, and then the deer got in here. It was just really disappointing. I was sick for days just thinking about how bad this damage was. So all in all, it's not as bad as I had thought it was going to be, and I'm glad for that. Everything else can be replanted, and it looks like it's growing again. There's things there's things that are going to be delayed this year, but it's nothing that can't be replanted. At least at this point, we're early enough in the season that I can get things done. They've left my hoop house alone. They don't like going in there, even though sometimes we keep the door open at night. They just don't like walking into that little tunnel. So I think we might rig up something, at least netting wise, to be able to keep those doors open for the ventilation at night on the hoop house, but also so that there's no temptation to get in there because my tomato plants are looking fabulous in there. They're really liking the heat in there this year. So I'm excited about those. I had to tie them up already again. Um, so they're 3 to 4 feet tall already, so in some spots. So we have the chicken coop coming up. I'll give you a quick sneak peek of what the chicken coop looks like. We did a nice big build on that because our goal is to get meat chickens as well and to be able to house those in the same coop as the hens. We built it big enough that we could split it in half, put a temporary wall up, and be able to have the meat birds protected from any predators. And that was another thing. I lost a chicken this week too. I found a pile of feathers. I don't know how she got out, and I don't know if she just didn't go in and got out and we didn't see her, but we found the pile of feathers, so that's kind of sad. And then we also have our outdoor kitchen project that we're working on. I was able to find a stainless steel table at a thrift store, and so I grabbed that. It was a good price. I've been wanting one of those for a while for our little outdoor kitchen area. And our outdoor kitchen area, that's what we call it, but it's basically a smoker and a camp stove. And it's where I do my maple syrup finishing in the spring. And we also like to cook out a lot. We've got a campfire pit close to that. We do a lot of campfire cooking, but we've been wanting to have a little bit more of a outdoor kitchen feel. So we've got a table to put in there now. We're going to do a dry pour concrete there. I think we're going to try that and see how well that goes, and then just be able to set that up nicely with the new table. And we got a little flat top griddle that was on clearance at a store. So our outdoor kitchen's coming together. So I'm excited to share that with you as well. So for now, I am going to put the camera away and get some stuff ready to get this fencing done. Dan's at work this morning, and I've got some things to get done and get ready so that we can get going on this when he gets home before it gets too hot for the day. So now that the deer netting is up, we took down the electric fence on the outside, because if the deer are going to get spooked because of this, they would end up getting stuck in the electric fence. So we did take that down, and the posts are still up. We just got to pop those out, but there's no more fencing there, just to make it safer. So the fence is done. Today is the 4th of July. We've got ribs in the smoker. And this is a quick sneak peek of our next project, the outdoor kitchen. Yay. Concrete, dry pour concrete. So we've already got the frame in there. We'll be working on that sometime over the next week or so, and then try to figure out how stuff is going to fit in there and how we want to arrange some things. So since the ribs are going to take several hours, we're going to go see if we can find some mushrooms to go with our supper tonight.
What do you got?
We got chanterelles. Toothbrush. Ooh. Clean them off before you put them in the bag. They're easier to clean later. That way they don't get your other ones all dirty.
Usually find these at the end of July, but everything's 2 or 3 weeks early this year, so we thought we'd come check. What are you looking for with those?
We're looking for gills that go all the way down the stems. They're not really, I don't think they're really gills, but they goes all the way down the stem. Cut that off there. It's all one piece. And they smell apricot-y. They smell very fruity. Yes, they're a very sweet mushroom. Not sweet, but
I got
fruity.
bloodsuckers all over me.
Yeah, slug.
The mosquitoes are healthy right now.
Oh yeah.